with Polygon Pythagoras. MetaMask, yeah, crypto cash. Yeah, I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Smart contracts inside your smartphone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Help me ET phone. Full body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the Metatope golden era. The whitelist still open, hurry up what you need, golden chariot. Holy virgins that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah. And use it inside your live stream. And all your metaverses, favorite games in widescreen. Metatope, visualize your digital ID.
Hey Enzo, doing great.
Hey Medic. Medic, this is Maddie, who is on the TOB account. Maddie, this is Crypto Medic over on the Metatope account. It's actually a pleasure to have both of these projects on the same space, mostly because these are the only two projects I've been in where both the projects come out with an app before they come out with the NFT. So it's actually really exciting to see what you guys are both doing. And yeah, really happy to be able to represent both of these projects and be able to work and help both of these projects grow. So yeah, I'm really excited to have both of you up here. It's going to be a really fun space. Both of these projects have insane utility. So, and what they're doing to form communities is absolutely amazing. So, with that being said, thank you guys for being here. Thank you to the host. Thank you to Maddie for being able to come here also. If you guys want to, Maddie, if you wanna start some things off, telling us a little bit about what TOB is or what the Oddlings Game Club is, that would be amazing.
Yeah, thanks, Enzo. Appreciate it. And hey, good to meet you, man, and your team. It looks like some of them are on the line.
Great to meet you. We're really glad you could come out. Interested to hear what you guys are doing. I've had my eye on you guys for a long time. I want to know how to get my Oddlings.
Well, we are the best game to play while you're pooping. That's our new slogan. You know, we've tried everything in the NFT space. Been through the bull market, the bear market, every other market that's going to come up, and we'll still survive. And in the end, that's how I introduce our project. I'm like, we're the best video game to play while you're pooping. Anyway, Enzo, how's your new cell phone?
Actually, great. I got everything set up for the most part. I have to do some updates. I just haven't done them because every time I want to sit and do the update, I get stuck on Web3. So I actually just got the phone, took a few pictures, and that's all I've pretty much used it for, is a few pictures and to download the Oddlings game and the Metatope app, which is only available to the team for right now, but the closed beta is coming out soon. So really exciting. But yeah, that's literally all I have downloaded so far.
I'm gonna have to delete a couple videos on my phone to make room for their app. You guys are probably wondering why
the underlying thing that he said there, I think we all missed, is that he's calling us slave drivers. He doesn't have time to download stuff on his phone, so we make him work.
True. Well, and the reason I ask is because in our last, he had like a Samsung #1 or #2, you know, from like 1994. And he was running our spaces, the Abominable spaces, some other spaces, and he just kept getting rugged and all kinds of problems. So I told him after our last collection dropped and sold out that the project would send him a new phone. And turns out it's really complicated and expensive to send shit to Uruguay.
So we figuring that out,
yeah. So we sent him. I mean, I knew it was, but I was like, it can't be that bad. And then I got an iPhone.
We gave away an Apple Watch in one of our giveaways, and that was like the big fear. Was like, yeah, well, what if somebody in one of these countries where we can't send it to?
Yeah, I put in our terms because we gave away a PlayStation 5 and a new phone, so you can play our game on your new phone. But in the terms and conditions, I said, or equivalent ETH value for base model if you're outside of the US or something. Because yeah. Anyway, so we're excited that Enzo's in the 21st century with his brand new phone, courtesy of the Oddlings Game Club and the Abominable Bunch, our partner project. I just can't wait for the nice crisp photos of Enzo and his tattoos and his piercings we could post. I might make an NFT collection out of his NFTs tattooed on his body. We'll see. We'll see how the IP rights go.
I love it. I would buy a first mint Enzo. I would.
It's like the never ending it's the never ending NFT. It's just like inside of a thing, and it's on his skin. Yeah,
I love it.
it's kind of creepy, but anyway.
Tell us more about how you guys got started and where you're at.
Yeah, so I bought some sandbox land last year, and that's kind of how I got started. I'd done a little bit of investing in some crypto, but not much. And my partner Corey, who's my business partner Corey, he is a game designer, developer. We used to work for a big Japanese game company years back, and he's got a side company with his partner John, where they developed the Oddlings video game for the last few years on mobile, kind of as a side project. And they're launching it here. It's in beta, but they're launching it in 2022. And I went to Corey last December, January, because we bought the sandbox land together. I was like, well, now what the hell do we do with our land? And so I started getting a little bit more into NFTs like everybody else does. And I saw the lack of utility in all these ridiculous projects selling out right away, in early this year. And Corey and I got together and I said, hey, you've got a game built that's more utility than anybody I've ever seen around. And not only was it built, but it looks good. It sounds good. It's like a full mobile game, kind of a vertical arcade, endless runner type game, a little bit like Temple Run and Doodle Jump mixed together. But I told Corey, I was like, hey, you've got some really great art. You're the best artist I've ever known. Let's do an NFT collection together. And just as a way to bring awareness to your game, so when it drops in the app stores, you already have a community. It can help raise some money for marketing because, as you guys might know, marketing a video game on mobile can be expensive. And if you don't market it, it might just, nobody will ever find out about it, right? So we started the community like in, I'd say February. Did our Genesis drop a couple months later. And that was towards the beginning of the bear market. And so it took us a couple months to sell out our Genesis collection. But we slowly built this community where we play monthly or weekly contests with the video game. We use Discord. And let's see, what did we do this summer? I think a lot of the projects that I know about just either disappeared or they're struggling or they're still around. So when the bear market hit, we're still in a good position because our video game's built and everybody loves it and everyone's playing it. By everyone, I mean like the 40 people in our community that engage on a regular basis. And we're planning to launch it live in the app stores here in the next couple months and drop the main mint along with it. In the meantime, we've done so many ridiculous collections. Is that right, Enzo? I think we've got like a whole whale collection, special edition collection. We got this Oddlings bunch collection that I'm sporting now on my PFP that we did as the first ever collab mashup animated NFTs project out there for like a kind of a free / cheap mint that we just sold out a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I can go on and on for days about it, but I'd like to hear about your project here in a minute too. But yeah, I mean, we're just a game club and we've got one game built and launching and we're planning additional games, kind of transitioning from Web2 to Web3. We're excited that Apple just said that they're going to be allowing the sale or transfer of NFTs on mobile, which was kind of a big announcement. So we're kind of maybe pivoting one of our game ideas to be on mobile instead of PC because that's kind of where our bread and butter is right now. But
I love it. I love a lot of what you guys are doing. I think you've been through a lot of the challenges like we have. I mean, developing an app, and we've been 2 years in the developing an app and the pitfalls of that. So, I won't belabor you with that. I think you guys probably know the woes better than us. But yeah, I think mobile is definitely where everything's headed. I see this split right between that Web3 interface through the web browser, right? Because it's very easy to develop for a web browser versus necessarily developing for a mobile platform that's not browser based. But I think the experience that the end user gets is always better in a native app on a device versus just a web interface. I mean, there may be a few instances where that's not true, but I think for the most part, when you really start to take advantage of the device the way it was meant to be used, I think you get a much better end result. But I love what you guys are doing. It's the same thing that we're out to do, right? Is utility and value. Uh, I think our team saw the same thing you saw, the ridiculousness in people spending thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on a picture that is literally being used as a PFP, and they can do nothing else with it. Uh, I think we were all shocked by what was happening in that market. And I don't think that there's any reason why we can't be there again, but I think you got to bring a lot more to the table now. And I'm glad that that's where we're getting to, is that people want not only utility in what they're buying in these things, but value, right? Stacked value. So I want to be able not only to use it, but I want to be able to use it in different ways, in different places. I want to be able to, whether that's express myself in different ways or unlock different features or rewards. I think, the whole industry, if not the whole world, is all about what am I getting more for what I'm putting out, right? With everything just getting ridiculously more expensive in the world, people want value. They want to know that what they're buying is their money's going to stretch. It's going to give them more than just a pretty face.
Yeah, it was really weird last year. If you looking back in hindsight, right? It'd be like if millions of people were buying blank CDs, hoping that they could flip those blank CDs and make some money off of it, but they don't have a CD player and there's no music on the CDs. I'm like, well, what are you guys getting out of it? You're just gonna have a bunch of crap in your wallet that is gonna be meaningless. But I mean, everyone's chasing that Bored Ape flip. So I kind of get it. But at the same token, I'm a little bit glad there was a pullback in the market and, solid teams survive, and the consumers the remaining consumers are a lot more buyer beware, right? They're like, well, what are you guys offering? What are you doing? They're not just going to blindly mint 20 projects, right, hoping to see what happens. But yeah, it's just a really weird year, right?
It is, but I think it's also opportunity. I mean, obviously, down markets are times to build, but I think it's an opportunity it's forcing projects to rethink who their audience is, to reach beyond. I mean, it was so easy. People were just flooding into areas looking for the next big NFT, right? Now you have to think beyond just maybe that local crypto space. We have to start to think about, well, how do we bring Web3 to the larger audience, to the end user that needs to be able to interact with the blockchain without knowing they're interacting with the blockchain, right? That's what's really going to blow up the industry of Web3 and the usability of it.
Right.
Like both of you were saying, and the best part about both of these projects, as I can see what goes on behind closed doors for both of these projects, is that you guys we're in the middle of a bear market and you guys are still building, and I think that's the important part that's going to put you over the edge when the bull market comes, is that you guys are still sticking to what you set out to do, whether that be build the game, or for Metatope, whether that be, to build out a skin where people can use their avatars. You guys are still building this in the back end, even though like people aren't in the Web3 space as much as they were like a few months ago, and everybody is running out and liquidating their crypto positions, trying to take money out of the market because inflation is in rising prices everywhere, so people are taking their assets and liquidating them to pull money out. And through all of that that's going on, you guys are still building. So yeah, it's really nice to see that on the back end, because I get to see it for both projects. Yeah, it's really nice to see that and to know that you guys are still here, no matter whether that be through the bear market or bull market. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Enzo. Appreciate it. It's something you said reminded me of some innovation. So as you guys know, in crappy markets or when you're building, like you got to be innovative and set some trends, right? Um, and it's weird in the Web3 space because, you know, try to convince the average person, hey, go get a wallet and hook it up to your bank. And in 3 days, you can put some money in it. And after you get it, then you can buy some of this artwork. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So to kind of combat that uh, issue, one of my buddies, Aaron Haber, he launched a project Below Board. It's like a comedy club, and he's been a comedian forever. And he's an ape holder and does like daily and weekly shows and stuff. But anyway, he's got a way to sign people up that makes it seem like it's not Web3 when it is Web3, which was, I thought, really smart. You know, going to his website, signing up, saying, hey, I want to be part of the weekly comedy club. And he brings in comedians from like Comedy Central and wherever else to do just a weekly comedy show on Wednesday nights. But the onboarding process is not like we did it, where you got to go to someone's Twitter, then their Discord, then get a wallet, and then fund the wallet and all this other bullshit. And you're like, what the hell is this? And the way he signed it up, right, is just made it look like it's kind of a Web2 sign up. And it's like, hey, come to the comedy club. Oh, by the way, this is your ticket to get in. It happens to be an NFT. If you don't know what that is, here's some info and here's how to get one. Otherwise, you can still come and hang out and listen. But you get extra perks for being an NFT holder. So it's kind of like that kind of stuff. Even though we're a game club, kind of spurred my interest in innovating and coming up with new ways to onboard gamers into the Web3 space a little bit more, but in a more seamless manner. Anyway, just a long rambling thought and story from someone that was innovating in the space. Didn't know if you had any thoughts on that or anything that you guys are doing on the game side or anything like that to really onboard people.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna let our Vice President Walker step in here and take that one.
While we get Walker up here, if you guys can go up to the pinned tweet and make sure we retweet out the space while we get Walker up here. That way we can get some more people. People can learn more about Oddlings and Metatope. And honestly, like for the people in the crowd, if you guys haven't gone to Oddlings Discord to download their game, that's the only place where you can download their game because it's in beta is in their Discord. Just try it out for a few minutes. It's a really fun game, really engaging, and we host tournaments every week also. So you know it's kind of a way to keep the community engaged. You know, while we're still going through the bear market and the app still hasn't come out on the App Store, is, you know, we do the weekly tournaments and people have the ability to win some NFTs. Once the main mint drops, we'll give them out free NFTs for anybody that won any on the tournaments. And which brings me to my next point. Metatope is going to have some competitions when their app drops in order to to be able to get other projects involved in their with their skins to build out the 3D assets. So I'm not sure if you touched up on this or not, Cryptomatic, but the first projects that we're going to onboard will be CryptoPunks and we'll be Bored Apes. And then we're going to have competitions when our app drops to see what other projects we're going to onboard. So yeah, it's fun to have that, you know, that friendly competition. And yeah, it's gonna be really nice to see who uses our app and what communities come together the best to use our apps. Whether that be to play the Oddlings game or whether that be to you know to onboard their specific collection onto a 3D asset when Metatope drops their app. It's going to be really interesting to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, Enzo. I think that you hit it on the head there, right? The real thing that needs to happen is the interconnectivity of all this. It's great to have an NFT community, even something like Bored Apes or some of these other big communities, but still, you're only talking in terms of 10 or 20 or even maybe 100,000 people, which sounds like a lot, but it's not going to revolutionize the world, right? It's not going to change the way we do things. We have to start to connect all of these different communities, whether they be NFT or metaverse or crypto, coin, whatever it is that they're building. We have to begin to build the infrastructure that allows this all to link together. And I think that's what, a big driving force behind Web3 is. It's a big factor in what we're building, is that infrastructure based platform where all of these different entities can finally begin to work together and be interoperable.
Yeah, so with Metatope, it's going to be built on Unity, just like the Oddlings game is. So I remember talking to you, Maddie, in the Discord a few days ago. I think it was like during last week, or if not the week before that, during our weekly tournament. And Corey said that there was a bug on Unity, and we thought that the bug was on our end, but it ended up being a Unity bug. And so do you kind of know what the bug was? Um,
I think it
that
was.
way we can.
I think it was an issue with the UI, where once Corey was digging into it, I think they must have done an update. I'm not as close to the game development. I'm more the business guy, but I think there was a update, and then it messed up all of our UI, and we thought it was a problem on our end. And so I think John and Corey spent like a month going in circles trying to fix it, and they're like really good developers, right? But turns out in the end it was a Unity problem. They fixed it, and then everything was fine, but it delayed what they were working on to get the game the other 5% done, get it over the finish line so we can launch it in the app stores. It delayed like a month and a half. It's kind of annoying. Is as best as I understand it, but yeah, I mean Unity is great. Building on it, we can port it over across platforms on console and PC. It's a little bit different, as you know, with a freemium game because you got to change some stuff if you're putting it on PC because it's got that Apple or mobile freemium model built into it. But
Yeah, it's still a great place to be able to, a great platform to be able to have that interoperability built within it. I think you've run some of the same stuff we have. You change one thing and you break 6 other things, right?
Right. Well, man, I'm looking at some of you guys got a bunch of chiefs, a COO, a CEO, all kinds of people. Do you guys happen to need an IP attorney?
Yeah. And I guess that's the big thing we're talking about here, right, is IP and the ability to own your IP in a different way, right? To own your digital identity is really what we're talking about. And then to not only be able to own that digital identity, but to be able to take the content that you create with that digital identity and share, whether you're an influencer or just someone who likes to create content, not only to be able to monetize that in the blockchain, but to be able to own that content forever, right? So, think about producing something with an avatar that represents you, whether that's a show or a dance, because it's full head to toe 3D integrated, and then being able to share that out. And every time somebody looks at that or interacts with it, your wallet goes up in the blockchain, and that thing lives out there on the blockchain forever. And every time somebody interacts with it, that happens. I mean, it's a different way, I think, in thinking of how social networks work. I think that's one of the things that we haven't really seen somebody take advantage of yet, is actually what we're doing, building a social network on top of that blockchain, right? Not just kind of riding to the side and saying, okay, well, we have a social network in Discord, really, or it's in Twitter, but really beginning to utilize the blockchain to build that infrastructure of a social network that allows everything to have ownership and trackability.
Right. Yeah, I was just looking through some of your C-suite folks. I feel like I'm pitching to a bunch of VCs. So I started I'm in Seattle. I'm an IP attorney during the day, and then Corey in the audience.
Nice.
He's our artist in Salt Lake with his game studio down there. I don't think he's going to be able to come up and speak. He's working right now, but he said he'd pop in and take a listen. But yeah, he's the artist and game designer, and the artist of all of our collections that everybody goes crazy for. But I started Corey and I started a Web3 company earlier this year and started pitching some of our game ideas and concepts to a couple investors. And then the bear market hit, and we're still trying to focus on the Oddlings Game Club and launching the Oddlings game. So I put a little hold on that for a little bit. But there's still a lot of interest, I feel like, in the market for Web3 gaming. I think after the crash hit, big companies like Gala that take a big hit, but
Yeah.
still developing a lot of games and whatnot. And we've got a friend, I don't know if you know Matt of TopeTalk down in Australia. He just raised a bunch of money for his Racer Club game from like Animoca and some car companies and some other investors and whatnot. So it's still promising to hear that there's still money out there to be invested in developing Web3 gaming. It's a risky area for investors. So you really got to have something solid and good. I don't know what your guys' experience has been, or if you raised any money or for this project, or if you guys are bootstrapping it or what, but be
Yeah, I
interested
mean,
to hear.
a lot of it is bootstrapped. I mean, we have a parent company that's Intermedia Group of Companies, which is the largest privately owned media and marketing company. So, we have a lot of support, I would say, from that end. But running into a lot of the same challenges, absolutely. I mean, you have to really be showing something special. I mean, this is why, like, we weren't even out talking about this stuff until this summer. 2 years in the building to really try to show something that's going to wow people. And they're going to say, wow, now that's something I've never seen, right? So certainly we've all used Snapchat and those types of features. And there are even, different projects that are doing that type of stuff with NFTs, even with apes, but it's really bust up and it's just facial. And to what degree that facial is depends on the app you're using. I think where we've really chose to set ourselves apart is doing something that nobody's ever done before, which is using that front-facing camera to capture full body motion, head to toe, with no suit or gloves on. So you don't need these fancy marker suits anymore.
So now that Corey jumped on, he'll be interested to hear this from an art and technical standpoint. What's the elevator pitch of your guys' project and technology? Because you what you mentioned, and I was like, well, you got to have what about the phone and the camera? And what are you guys?
So, I mean, if it's in the last 2 generations, I would say 3 now with some of the newer stuff coming out, then it's going to work just fine. It's that front-facing camera on the Apple. Will be having it out on Android as well. It really is no more than that. Whereas you used to have to wear a glove with dots on it, and if you really wanted to start getting your arms and your legs, then you were wearing a suit that had dots at your joints everywhere. And that's really what the computer's camera is looking at in order to track your movement. We spent a very long time developing algorithms that allow that camera to track individual fingers even, right? So you'll give somebody the okay sign or a thumbs up. To me, this is huge. It's expression that's been missing from a lot of these apps and a lot of these interfaces, I think. When we start talking to other projects that we're speaking to, metaverse projects, things like portals, who have avatars in them. They have avatars even from other companies that connect to them, right? But what we're seeing a lot of is these avatars are, number one, they're built from a stockpile of preset assets. So potentially somebody could be looking a lot like you. There's no ownership in them. And they're very stale in their ability to do anything. Like there are buttons you can push right on your keyboard to jump up and down, or maybe raise your hand, or maybe give a thumbs up, right? But it's very stagnant. It's very stale. It's very non-personal, I would say. What our app is going to bring as we launch these plugins, as you begin to be able to do more than just create content, but begin to be able to live plug in, is to be able to embody yourself in a way in AR that I don't think anybody's really seen to this point. To be able to dance around as your avatar, to be able to interact with people. I mean, what I always tell people is a great way to imagine is, I think we all saw, I don't know if we all saw it, but hopefully we all have seen now things like Snoop Dogg as his ape. Uh, he took a whole team of people, you know, and how much did that cost? I mean, to 3D model that, to do his dance and then have it turned into his ape and then do this whole production of it. I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong. It was fantastic and it looked amazing. But the average person doesn't have those resources. Our app is going to allow you to stand in your living room and give that concert just like he did as your avatar. I think that's powerful technology for where we're at in the world, for being able to express yourself in Web3 in a way we just haven't seen before.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through your Twitter right now. It's the first time I'm seeing a lot of the tech.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Side note, my brother met Snoop Dogg a couple weeks ago. He was pitching his company.
Oh, nice.
He made it. Well, he's an exaggerator. Corey knows this. he was acting like he was in the same room with Snoop Dogg, hanging out, rolling blunts. Turns out it was just a Zoom call. And he said
Right.
like one word, right? And his business people were there. And, but you know, anyway, that was the sidebar.
It's fun. Yeah, I get it. I mean, he's a big force in the space. He gets it. I think more and more, right, we're seeing that people are interacting in digital ways, right? I mean, certainly the C word changed all of that for a lot of people, but a lot of business, a lot of just things that used to be done in person are being done digitally now. And you know, what we're lacking is everybody's in a different place, right? Like, well, do I meet on Zoom or on Google or on, you know, if I'm in Web3, is it Discord? Is it, there's all these different communities and places and different ways to show yourself. But what's really lacking is that unifying platform that everybody starts to come to that says, okay, I bought my Versace or my Louis Vuitton jacket in the metaverse. Where the hell am I going to wear it? And what am I going to wear it on?
No, I'm watching your
Polygon Pythagoras.
I'm watching your Walker
I seen the metaverse through Metatope. My eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1 evolution, the smartphone. Phase 1 evolution, healthy ET phone. Whole body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the Metatope golden era. The whitelist still open. Hurry up, what you need? Golden chariot versions that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah, and use it inside your live stream. And on your metaverses, favorite games and widescreen. Metatope, visualize your digital ID. I see the metaverse through Metatope. My eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Yeah, Metatope is your mirror to the metaverse.
And the vision I see is like,
yeah, I see the metaverse through Metatope. My eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone.
not just our NFT, because that's really what I always try to tell people, right? We're a tech company to begin with. Yeah, we're not an NFT company, but these NFTs are going to give people a unique opportunity to get into this platform. But you know, the whole idea is that this is the key to unlock other potentially greater things. Imagine we're already building out Bored Apes and CryptoPunks, so we have Bored Ape holders that we've already built their 3D models. They can embody their ape. And I don't mean in a way like it's pasted on the head of their body. I mean, it is their ape.
Yeah, they're probably going crazy for going crazy for that. They're like nerds for anything about their goddamn ape. They're like, yeah, absolutely. Make me my ape.
Absolutely. And that's what I want to do, right? I want to empower people to make content like they want to make. I want to give you the tools to blow everything up, because you can embody and do things not just with an NFT, but with the platform that just weren't possible before. Yeah. I want to take us from Web. Sorry, I want to take us from Web 2.5 to 3. Really.
Oh, that's fresh. No, I like that Web 2.5. How are you guys doing the cryptid or the CryptoPunks? Because their art is so terrible and pixelated. Does it look the same when you superimpose it or generate it as?
I mean, I would say it's an artist rendition of it, but it's true to the look. and the artists have worked very closely, at that. The point is not to, remake the art. The point is to take that art and turn it into a 3D in a way that people can really experience it, right? And I think people get that, like the art and the original NFT is always going to be that. I mean, the same with ours, there's still going to be a PFP that's in super high res, but I think from being in gaming, the ability to take those kind of pixels into certain places just isn't going to happen, right? There's always going to be lesser, or if you're in a block type game that we integrate with, like Roblox, then your character is going to look like it should in that game.
Yeah. Do you guys know? Cryptid Punks out of Australia?
I do.
Oh, okay, yeah, they did that. Then they did 3D. I don't know if they dropped their collection, but they just did a 3D derivative of the punks and stuff. I talked with them a few times. Their art's pretty cool, but it looks like they spent a stupid amount of time generating 3D art of how many? 10,000? I don't know.
Yeah, dude, totally. Generating 3D art is the bane of my existence. Like, just getting an artist to sign off that he likes the way it looks. Like, you'll just go round and round and round.
Yeah,
because it is that. It is art, right? In the end, you and I see it as a business. Hey, man, I need an NFT I can sell people so I can link them to our platform, so I can have them play your game, so whatever it is we can do. But there's, the artistic person behind it still says, well, gee, this is my art and I need it to look right. And I want to be true to that. I do. But I think you would agree there's a balancing act to be had, right?
Yeah. Man, I'm jealous you guys have the time and the money to go to NFT NYC and other places. And I'm just going through your Twitter. So this is me just geeking out. But I do have a question. So there's like, one of the posts, there's like kind of a cute little blonde girl and she's doing her avatar, but her avatar isn't all that cute for like the TikTok and Snapchat peeps of the world, right? Like I got a teenage daughter. She'd look at this and be like, yeah, it's too sci-fi-y. So and maybe I'll just need to scroll farther down, but how are you guys, what's your plan to kind of get more to the masses, which is, by masses, I mean teenage girls from 16 to 24 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know that that's necessarily the first target audience, but I think, the vision is really Jared Morantz's vision. And he really is that kind of steampunk, superhero, futuristic. I mean, that's who he is. That's his art. So I will say that it is difficult in a lot of ways to be able to femalize some of that with the blockier looks of some of the tech that we're doing. But it's very doable. I'm very impressed with what these artists have been able to do. I'm going to bring up Joseph, who is our CTO.
Oh, sweet.
Joseph,
good to meet you, Joseph.
Hey guys. Yeah, so I mean, the stuff that you're going to see initially, which you haven't even seen yet, you've only got a snippet, is just part of the Genesis collection. So it's about, that first that's going to be out there. In the end, we're going to be opening this up to other projects and creating new collections that are going to interest other parties. But this is the first of the first, and by having Jared Moranz, a world builder, well known in Marvel and DC, there's a huge audience that love his work. Like, I mean, how many people love Marvel movies and DC movies? From the Avengers all the way down to Spider-Man.
I hate him. I'm so tired of him. I'm just kidding. I get your point.
Yeah, so it's a
cool.
biggie.
I mean, you guys are. Yeah, and no, that's awesome. I'm gonna look. I don't know who he is, but that doesn't mean nothing. I'm gonna look more into him. But no, I get it. I'm looking through you guys' Twitter and seeing all the tech, and you're still just proving some stuff out. But nobody else is doing this, obviously. So excited to kind of see where it goes next. And it's not like the people that are obviously going to pick it up aren't going to be the masses of the TikToks and the Snapchat world. Probably going to be a lot more gamers and artists and people into sci-fi and stuff.
Yeah, I think, that's exactly it. I think some of the hardcore gamers, I think artists, really, I think those influencers, especially in the crypto world, right? How many times do we hear people about, doxing? And I mean, yeah, we're all doxed and everything, but a lot of these influencers who create content on Twitter, on YouTube and such have personas that are their PFP basically. So why not have a persona that's your PFP that you actually can embody, right? And then go and do your show as that PFP. Take it a step further, the ability to add accessories to that. So that's where the other portion of this all comes in, right? What good is it to have an avatar that always looks the same? I want to be able to change shoes and jackets and hats and potentially a lot more. Choice, right? It's all about giving people choice. I want to hear more about how your NFT relates to the game.
Oh, the Oddlings?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So we are Web 2.5, like you coined. The game is it's not an NFT game, but we sold our Genesis collection and we're dropping our main collection kind of as a membership pass, right? To be part of the game club, and we're giving holders 10% of the profits from the Oddlings game now that's built and that's launching, and additional Oddlings IP games, and potentially other collections that will drop will relate to other games that we'll do like a profit sharing scheme, but more through like a DAO and a community wallet, and try to avoid all the SEC situations. Because we did drop this Oddlings Bunch collection that's kind of related but kind of not related, and we're concepting another video game around that, and that will be a Web3 game where you can potentially import and play your NFTs, or however that shakes out. But yeah, the original Oddlings game was designed and developed by Corey and John. Started about 4 or 5 years ago. A couple years of development time when you crunch it all down. So that was before real NFTs in the Web3 space, and it was a mobile game. So we're trying to bridge from using the Oddlings game and the IP and bridge that over into a Web3 space. Like I said, just using our NFTs as membership into the club and some profit sharing. So
I think that's great. I think it's a great idea. I just want to say a couple things. Everybody's in here. Thanks for coming in. Remind everybody, if you haven't, tweet it out. We still got a little while left to go. We'll wrap this all up here. And again, everything we talk about in here, just for entertainment purposes, not financial advice. Please do your own research on any project, including our own. You never know what people are doing out there these days. We work hard for our community and for our potential customers, but I can't speak for others. So please do your own research.
Hey, where did that originate? Where does that originate from anyway? The not financial advice. Do you have to disclaim that so you don't sound like an accountant? Because everybody says it, but at the same token, I'm just like, I'll give you financial advice right now. Like, take it or leave it. But it must be from like accounting laws or something, huh?
Well, this is what it goes to, and I'll tell you, here's a really great example of it, right? Kim Kardashian just got fined $1 million from the SEC for shilling crypto, basically, right?
Oh, yeah, without disclosing that she was a paid promoter. But like neither of us are paid promoters for each other's projects, so I could be like, hey, everybody, go buy some Metatopes.
Right, I can shill your project, but for shilling my own project, basically, I'm a paid member of the team, obviously. So for me to just go and say this is a great deal and you should buy it because whatever will happen, like if I don't just make a disclaimer like that, then potentially the SEC can say,
I think you're okay because you're not an influencer. Like, you're part of the team. You can say whatever you want about your own project and tell people, come, buy. I think that law is more for influencers, and it came after that one. Did you see that movie on Netflix? Did you all see that? Or that the Fire Fest. I think that's where the law came out after that. So yeah, any influencers, they have to disclose what they're getting paid and how much they're getting paid. But so anyway,
I guess my question would be, what makes you or doesn't an influencer, right? So
fake lips and a big butt.
Maybe
and 12 million
more
followers.
Than how many followers somewhere?
Yeah. That's funny. Anyway, I cut you off. I just want since
No,
we
you're
got
good.
since it's just you and I BSing back and forth. I thought it'd be funny to have a conversation about like why can't you just say, hey, go buy all their NFTs right now. I'll tell people right now, 12 projects, don't buy their NFTs.
Right.
Come to Oddlings Game Club and
There's
Metatope and
financial
buy them
advice
all.
for you, right?
Yeah. I'll give you some right now. I don't care who's listening. Like the FBI, they're too busy running in circles.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I just do what the lawyers tell me.
Right.
I think you should. I think we might be good on listening to Matty. He is an IP lawyer, so
Right.
Oh,
maybe
I
financial
push the
advice.
rules. I push the rules so much because I know how to skirt them, but they get a little bit edgy. Like you look at our special edition collection that Corey did. There's a bunch of like Mario's and Luigi's and princesses, like, but they have one eyeball and they're a cube. And we're not doing any trademark infringement, and the copyright is kind of on the edge. But I'm like, hey, we got no arms, no legs. We're using the same colors, but we have one eyeball. I think we can get away with it. And what's Nintendo? We're not even on Nintendo's radar. And if we were, I'd be happy because then it means we're somebody, right?
Exactly. If they're looking at you, then that's good stuff.
But with that being said, like I honestly think that this is a great time for Metatope as well as for Oddlings. Metatope being able to basically allow the influencers, or even not even influencers, just anybody that wants to be in Web3. Like most of the people in Web3, they want to stay anonymous. Um, Everybody in the Metatope team is doxxed. Everybody in the Oddlings team is doxxed. I myself am doxxed, and I believe in doxing, for transparency reasons. But there's those people in the NFT space that have a ton of money, and sometimes like they don't want to disclose who they are, but they still want to be active in this space. So, with Metatope coming out with their skins, I feel like that gives all those people that want to remain anonymous, or that want to embody their Bored Ape or their CryptoPunks, like that gives them the great ability to do the same thing that I can do. Because what if you've seen, like, when I get a tattoo, like I make a video of the tattoo and I talk about the company I got the tattoo for and everything. And maybe there's some of these people that want to remain anonymous but still want to be able to like put videos and content out. So like with Metatope, I feel like that gives them the great ability to do that, to stand in front of a camera and know that they won't be doxxed. They'll just be embody one of the NFTs that they bought. And that's a great advantage for the people that want to remain doxxed in this space. Um
Yeah, it's
like
interesting. It's
like I like
interesting.
to I like
Interesting
to put out
point.
content. Yeah, I'd like to put out content. You guys have all seen me on pictures, on videos, but there's other people that aren't as confident being themselves in Web3, whether that be like uh, whether that be for their looks, or whether that be they want to remain anonymous to protect their families and protect to protect like their addresses or who they are or their identity, because they're probably someone that isn't supposed to be in the media saying certain things. Like if you work for a big company, maybe you're not allowed to say certain things, so you can hide behind the NFT as a full embodiment. And I think that's going to actually, like, when these NFTs come out and people are actually able to embody their NFTs, like that is going to revolutionize like the influencing world, because some of these influencers will be able to put out video content like they've never been able to, because they have to hide behind a PFP. And now, oh sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. But now they won't have to
Was it a little
they
one?
won't
Was
have
it a
to
short
hide.
one?
Yeah, I got like long hair, so sometimes it gets in my mouth, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah,
I
now they
love you,
don't have to
Enzo.
hide behind the.
How old are you, Enzo? You're like 25, right?
I'll be 28 in
That's
15
right.
days.
Man, I love you. I can't wait till you can come back to the States. I'm gonna fly you up and we're gonna hang out and you can talk with all the hair in your mouth you want. That sounded worse. That sounded creepier and weirder than I meant to come out. But no, that's an interesting take. Like people, my take was I want to use your guys' tech to put Brad Pitt on my face, and then I'm going to open up an OnlyFans account. Like that's how I was going to utilize it, not to undox myself or whatever.
That's hilarious. I want to bring Derby Chicken up.
Hey guys, how's it
Derby.
going?
What's going on, Derby?
It's
Pew, pew, pew,
so
pew.
fun to be here with Metatope and with Oddlings. So I've got a question for Metatope. Are there pink options?
Are there pink options? Is that what you said?
Yes, please.
Just for you.
Yes.
Yes, there are a lot of different combinations, and we have taken very much into account the ability to embody, male or female characterization, right? Like you should, when you buy an NFT, obviously, you're going to get what the randomness of the system provides. But how am I going to embody something as a female if it has a male look? So we totally get that. And what we've done to address a lot of that is in the app where you'll actually create your content, you're going to have a toggle that's going to be able to allow you to shift from male to female. And so in essence, you're going to get your NFT and then be able to create content as that character, either in a female or male looking way. And a lot of that has to do with the clothing and the way it will tighten up the hips and the way the bust will look. But I assure you that you will be able to embody a female with it. And I think that's
awesome.
really cool.
I love it. Yay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about, and the team is very much about, realizing that we need more women in Web3 and that there are women in Web3, obviously, and that a lot of that, I think, gets discounted, right? And so if you're going to allow people to embody something, then you certainly have to take into account that they may want to embody not only their sex, but potentially they may want to embody a different sex than they are for their character or for that personality, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Shelley identifies as an oddling. She doesn't realize it yet. She was born in the wrong body. She's a cube with an eyeball.
I'm a cube with an eyeball.
The pink one.
And see, that's what lends this tech to so much fun, right? Is already thinking about like, how would I take an oddling and 3Dize that into something that when you move and you look, it's one eye looks, and like there's a lot that can be done as we try to envision really taking, like I said, into Web3, which really should be 3D, right? I want to be able to walk in somewhere with my cell phone on my desk here and be able to be at a concert where whoever is performing up on stage and I'm dancing in my office and you see my avatar dancing right there to that thing and we're dancing together. That's the future I want to see. We're building it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you don't have to wear a suit, because I watched a TED Talk and there was a guy that had the suit and he had like the points on his hands, on his arms, on his legs, on his body. And then you could see the picture on the screen of, I guess, his avatar.
Yeah.
And this way you don't have to have a suit on.
Nothing. Just sit
some
there.
Some of us like wearing balls on our suits.
Right.
Yes!
All day, everywhere you go. Like really weird. Hey,
go ahead.
So the way that I see this is a better version of I remember like people I've always talked with people and they've said like, if you would have told people in the 1970s that you'd be able to talk to your watch and be able to talk to somebody halfway across the world, like that was sci-fi stuff. And now we're seeing that sci-fi stuff come to life. And recently I watched Ready Player One, which was basically about, a gaming kind of like metaverse where you put this suit on and you would start running on this treadmill, and your avatar would do whatever you were doing. And I watched this movie with Shelly a couple of months ago, and I feel like Metatope is going to give people the ability to do that without having to buy a high-end tech suit and have a treadmill in your house. But it's going to give you the ability to still have your avatar move and do whatever you want it to do at a more reasonable and affordable price. Because I've been to the mall here has a thing where you can put on the VR headset and you can play a game, and it's I think like 100 pesos, so it's like $5 to like play a game for like 10 minutes. And I asked them how much the actual like setup is because it's a pretty big setup. With it doesn't have a treadmill, but it has these things that you put on your shoes to be able to run and mimic in the game, and it's like an $11,000 setup. And this NFT is not $11,000, so it's a affordable way for people to start embodying their NFTs and at affordable prices.
Absolutely. I mean, even, like some of our designers who are doing, the real legwork of not only the NFT, but the 3D graphics. I mean, they're blown away by the tech in that, if you want to create 3D avatar content, uh, head to toe. There's nothing you can do that with without having a rig, or having the suit. Like you can do it with certain cameras and software that are available, but like exactly what you're talking about, you need all this additional gear that ends up costing you a fortune. So not only in terms of our app and the NFT, but in terms of where Metatope as a community and the technology can take us, I think is really exciting. What this technology could potentially be used to create in the future as well.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's gonna, be able to bring a lot of communities together. I know Maddie and I talked about some ways to incorporate oddlings into different communities, and the way that Metatope is going to be able to incorporate our tech into different communities is by being able to build these communities 3D assets. So um, I think both of these projects have a great future ahead of them, especially with how you guys want to bring different projects and different communities together into to just be one big community. So honestly, the way that Metatope's going about it by building 3D assets, and the way that Oddlings is going about it, being able to collab with different projects to bring different projects to play our game, and maybe at some point in the not so distant future, maybe have Oddlings game be like a household name that people play, like instead of having smash cart competitions in all the Discord servers, be able to have Oddlings competitions in all different Discord servers. Like their way to bring community together, and Metatope's ability to bring communities together with their assets is definitely huge for the space.
I love it. I
Interesting.
love
You
it.
mentioned that. I just saw a mock-up. Corey and John are working on a split screen of 4 players to go head to head to bring in head to head competition with the Oddlings game and other projects to use the
I
game as
love it.
tournaments, just like Smash Carts. Yeah, and it's kind of what Toast Punk is doing with his Racer Club. And they are having a 3D aspect of their driving their avatars around with their little characters, but it's like project against project. Import your NFTs, but in
I
order
mean,
to
I'd
do a
love to
three
see
in
stuff
order to
like
do a
that.
3D well in order
Yeah,
to do a 3D NFT in their Racer Club, you still have to pay, I think, 3, 4, 5,000 to
yeah,
do all
yeah.
your stuff. Yeah, you guys can do it in a jiffy. It looks like.
um, I would love to see like us using your game as a community game to drive community engagement. Like I think that's where a lot of this stuff is. It's connectivity to the good projects with each other. Um, I love it. Tell me a little bit more here before we start to wrap this up. I see Thursday nights, tonight you guys have live game contest, yes?
Well, sometimes it's Thursdays, sometimes it's Sundays. It just depends. And
who's hanging out? Right?
Yeah, on who's hanging out. And it's the next build is coming out that fixes a lot of bugs, so we expect that to bring on some more folks. We're going to have those features where you can do head-to-head and split screen, kind of race to the top and different challenges and stuff. Until then, yeah, we're just doing weekly competitions, give away some ETH and NFTs, and we do it in Discord, share screen on your phone, and then you play head-to-head. It lasts about an hour, hour and a half, maybe more. But it's always a fun thing to do. And in the bear market, that's where the idea came to us. We're like, let's create kind of a tournament mode, and we can be like a smash carts for folks and start spreading the word out there. So we're not too far off from getting to that point. But in the meantime, it's still smaller tournaments with a smaller group. But once we hit that smash cart like mentality and start pushing it out there, Enzo's going to help out a lot. And we think it's a fun thing for communities like your guys' community. If you do one every week or one every 2 weeks and you're like, hey, come hang out and play, keeps people engaged. Otherwise, as you know, people disappear.
There's not a whole lot to do while you're waiting for the next update for the app. Right?
Yeah, you're like, good morning, good night, good morning, good night. You're like, well, what are we doing here?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm all about community engagement and fun stuff to do. So, yeah, I definitely see a future with that. And, I mean, for us, the next big, I guess, milestone for us, we've got our pre-mint open now. So everybody, please go check that out. It's premint.xyz/metatope.
Oh yeah, can we do a little blast on our server and in the Abominable server? Enzo, will you do that? Like not just a typical fake promo shill, but like a meaningful, thoughtful. I'll help you out, Enzo, if you need help. He's giving hearts.
Yeah, we can get that set up and do it either today or tomorrow. Yeah, we can definitely go do that.
Well, we can do a giveaway. We can give away some of our top NFTs in a raffle for people that go join and sign up. Like, let's do something a little more substantial. Otherwise, it's just, hey, here's a link, go join. And everyone's like, all right, whatever. See you later. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always that call to action we talk about, right?
Dude, you know what's funny? I know I'm bouncing around. Your CEO, Jordan, this is how I know people are actually working. Is he only has 142 followers and he's been here since 2015. Right? That's the kind of CEO you want. You don't want one with 20,000 fake followers and he's always on Twitter Spaces talking shit. Like you want one actually working. He's probably working right now, not listening.
Well, his stuff is going to probably increase rapidly. I mean, 3 months ago I had like 50 myself, and I've been on Twitter since 2009.
Oh yeah, well that's fine. I think when I see people that have like 10,000 followers or more, unless they're an actual influencer, I think they just paid for a bunch of followers, and then I don't trust them. So I do the opposite. If you have hardly any followers and you're following a handful of people and you're legit, then I'm like, oh,
you're probably a real person, right?
Yeah, you're a real person and you're bringing real value. You're not some phony like a Des Bryant or something. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there as a joke. I've been trying to say that for a while. Oh, hey, and when you get to the point, if you guys need any kind of beta testers or beta project testers, we might be able to get Corey, our artist, if he's got time, to do a 3D rendering of an Oddling, which he might already have, or an Abominable from the Abominable bunch. And doing something like that, and even just if it's a prototype or just seeing how the tech works or whatever with you guys and an existing project, both of our communities will go crazy for it and bring some awareness out of it.
For ways to bring value to the community and to link us to others. So absolutely, I see a future, and we'll see what we can do. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody being here. It's great spaces. We're going to do it again next week. We'll be back at our regular time, but please come in the Discord, check us out. Things are growing, things are happening. Our closed beta for our team is just about finished, and we're going to be doing a closed beta to specific people. Come in, talk to us, give us a reason to give you the closed beta to do some good content with.
Oh yeah, I'm going to join. I'll have a couple of our teammates join. Has in the audience. He's our smart contract developer. I'm sure he'll join up. And Jordan, I don't know if you're listening, but I'm going to stalk you on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to send you a bunch of crazy messages until you talk to me. Just an FYI.
He'll love that. He's a great guy. He's very, very personable and always easy to reach out to. I just know he gets like
reach out to him on
1,700
Instagram. You'll get more responses.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. No, that helps.
Yeah, because he gets like 1,700 emails a day. Well, great stuff. With that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you guys all next time on TopeTalk.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, man.
Cyberpunk. Yeah. I mix my ETH with Polygon Pythagoras. MetaMask. Yeah. Crypto cash. Yeah. I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1 evolution, revolution. Smart contracts inside your smartphone. Phase 1 evolution, revolution. Help me these phone. Full body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the Metatope golden era. The whitelist still open. Hurry up, what you need? Golden chariot. Holy virgins that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah, and use it inside your live stream. And on your metaverses, favorite games in widescreen. Metatope, visualize your digital ID. I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Yeah, Metatope is your mirror to the metaverse. Yeah, I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Metatope.com